Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on this 15th day of March 2022, a very important day for UDA. The National Delegates Convention is expected to be held today. And on page 7 of the Standard, you'll see Ruto to be crowned UDA flag bearer at NDC. Party has invited ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi and NARC Kenya leader Martha Karua. Around 5,000 delegates are expected at the event scheduled to take place at Kasarani Stadium. And of course, over the weekend, it was on Saturday, we saw DP Ruto presenting his papers to the Secretariat of UDA, and he was cleared as the sole candidate for UDA and therefore expected to be endorsed later this day. There are some clips that we would have listened to. We will when we receive them. But first, let me again begin with you, Senator Mwaura. We heard from Senator Kithure Kindiki enlisting the people that have been invited. Would you be privy to the details of that invitation list? And also, what are we to expect in this event?
Yeah, first and foremost, I think we are expecting 6,000 people. It's good to correct that.
6,000?
Yeah. And the
demand, who are?
Well, aspirants, the party officials, all of that. And the demand... Wait
a minute. National Delegates Convention.
Yes.
6,000 aspirants?
No, like I'm telling you the whole like the composition of the people who will show up.
How many are the delegates?
The delegates, of course, there are 15 per each constituency, plus now the others. It's big because actually the demand so far for the list is over 10,000. So I expect that we will have a lot of people outside the stadium. And of course, I hope they will also be able to follow the proceedings because the party is extremely popular. The list of invitees is not a matter of public, information fully, because you remember, even when we went for the NDC of ANC, it was a surprise. In fact, we were kept waiting. So I expect, for example, there are people who are supposed to have been under the OKA who will join us. And also, if you remember what happened on Sunday, which I think also we need to discuss some, you saw Moses Kuria joining us there, William Kabogo, and even the chief whip in the Senate, Kimani Wamatangi. Now Kiambu is locked. It's the president's backyard, is where I come from, is where I'm running for MP Ruto. And we can say without a doubt that really the president has gone alone to Azimio. So really we'll expect also, because of this disagreement that we are seeing in Azimio, that there will be a breakout. Those so-called 30 parties, especially... So
what really then defines these political parties that we have in Kenya? If it's about you disagree on this side, you cross over to the other side. Senator Wamatangi for so long has been defending the Jubilee Party. He is actually the majority whip, now crosses over. So what is defining us? What are the principles within these political parties?
If you look at the people from Mount Kenya region, all of the senators who are my colleagues, even Jeron Dwega, Gidiomi, all of them have crossed. I don't even know who's going to be given that position of Wamatangi. The point is that you listen to the ground. You listen to the ground, Sam Gituko. Every politician... Senator,
do you understand my question?
Yes, yes.
The principles that define these political parties. If someone can switch from this to the other, then it would appear there's no difference in all the parties.
There's a fusion, Sam, and we've discussed this with you before, between an ideology versus regionalism, yeah? So, for example, if right now you want to sell Jubilee in central Kenya, it's at 5%, honestly. Do you want to go to a dead horse? Can you flog a dead horse? You see Jubilee Mwewe, it's not the original Jubilee. So you have to align yourself politically, because a political party in and of itself gives you a head start. For example, when Anne Waiguru moved from Jubilee to UDA, her ratings shot up by 15%. That is the advantage of taking the right kind of decisions. And people know what they are doing. These are seasoned politicians. Unfortunately, our politics is polemic, okay? So that then if you move from one side, if you are in ODM, obviously, even if you look at our politics, Sam, we now kind of have got two main presidential candidates. That is William Ruto, he's way ahead, and Raila Odinga. So chances are that if then you move, you'll go to the other side. And that is normal in politics, I think. It's even happened in other jurisdictions in America. I wish, of course, and that's wishful thinking, I have come to realize, that we could have proper political ideologies based on some form of indoctrination. But then because of the nature of the fact that every other 5 years we have new political outfits, then it only follows that people should move, so that then whatever is codified in law does not follow through. For example, right now, who can you accuse of not having defected, for example? if Jubilee party can endorse the ODM party, effectively, the Jubilee, which now has moved to UDA, is the opposition in government. The government is in opposition. And then ODM is a opposition in government. So it then follows, because if you look at Chris Famaro, just the other day they were allies of Raila Odinga, isn't it? But then because he showed support for Deputy President William Ruto, he was de-whipped, and he was denied privilege. Was
he de-whipped for supporting DP Ruto?
Yes, of course. I mean, he can speak for himself. And I've also been a victim to the point of being expelled from the party. So it moves like that. I think it's the nature of our politics. It's not very good. I wish we were more mature in terms of having principles. But certainly...
Who is to make it mature if not the politicians?
It's an evolutionary issue, because you see, when you have two kind of... there are two main countries or states. They are traditional and developed, okay? But then we are in between. We are neither traditional or developed. We still have the formal state that follows the Westminster model of governance. But then we also have the informal one that is largely tribal and regional. So these two do not seem to augur well. Certainly, political instincts will tell you that if you see this is a winning side, and of course you resonate with it, and of course that is where you can get support, you align accordingly. If Kalonzo Musyoka was to be asked today, possibly he would be saying that all of my three governors were already ahead of me, and that is where Raila Odinga said that his coming would be inconsequential, and Chris Omalo has repeated. So I think he's finding himself in a situation where he didn't know what he signed. So you need to be very clear in your mind what you stand.
Senator, give me a short answer, because you just said that you will receive some guests from One Kenya Alliance. The One Kenya Alliance has the party of David Ocheng, MDG, I think. MDG. There is UDP of Cyrus Jirongo, NAK Kenya, Martha Karua, KANU, Gideon Moi, Farmers Party, Irungu Nyakera, and Wiper, Kalonzo Musyoka. At least you know where Gideon Moi and Kalonzo Musyoka are. Who out of this other list are you quoting?
Farmers Party have said they are neutral. They are not fronting a presidential candidate.
But they were at the Azimio NDC.
Yeah, but they've since declared that, because, of course, you see, Nyakera also knows where his bread is buttered, because he's running for governor in Murang'a. So he doesn't want to lose his support just because...
So who is coming to UDA NDC?
That is not part of... Let it be a surprise.
No, you just said it. I mean...
No, Sam, where is our guest?
No, I'm asking this question because yesterday, Senator Kithure Kindiki indicated that Martha Karua was going to be coming to UDA NDC. And Martha Karua tweeted and said, no, she's not attending.
Exactly. That's why I cannot also tell you, because I don't want to speak from...
Okay, so Dr. Chris Omalo, when you listen to this conversation, and yes, you were one side with Raila Odinga in CORD, later NASA, criticized Jubilee government, now you're with Kenya Kwanza with William Ruto.
Yes.
And it would appear just movements happening in the political scene. Do you think there's anything that defines these political parties beyond capturing power?
There's so much that helps. For instance, as we've had issues on the ODM side because of mistrust, and I keep on repeating about the issues of the political parties fund, where our big brother up to now, we've not been given our share. So to me, in a coalition is like a marriage. When you come together, it must be a win-win. There must be an aspect of flexibility. And that's why I'm insisting, though my brother SG has said differently, but earlier on he said that if the document has not yet been deposited in the register of political parties, it can as well be amended. So to me, our ODM brothers, there has been a level of mistrust. And because of the mistrust that was there, we decided to leave. And I'm surprised you're not aware I was de-whipped. You're the only stranger in
No, it's because previously you have denied that you were de-whipped for supporting DP Ruto.
No, of course. It was linked to that.
You have denied?
No. The issues, there were so many other issues
I am not denying that you were de-whipped.
Yes, I was de-whipped from the leadership.
What was the reason?
From the leadership position. There were many reasons. Even my party leader himself, he was also de-whipped.
What was the main reason?
And there was an MOU that was there. Though our brothers have said there was no MOU. And Kalonzo has repeatedly said this.
Dr. Chris
there was an agreement that this time Raila was made to support him. And he said it.
Dr. Chris Omalo.
So the issue of trust when it comes to a coalition, it is very, very critical.
Dr. Chris Omalo, you said that you were de-whipped. And you're saying that the stranger in Jerusalem, why were you de-whipped?
There were many reasons.
Main one?
Which is already water under the bridge. I don't want to...
What was the main reason?
There was also an issue of association. Association. I was associated with William Ruto at that particular time.
Was it factual?
Did not come together. Of course it was. And there are many things that we worked together.
You previously told me that it wasn't.
No.
That's what I'm asking.
We associated. You know, association, you should have asked for the description. what is the context of this association? I'm the chair. I'm the chair of the Catholic members of Parliament.
Yes.
And there are many forums of the church that you were involved in. And Deputy President was gracious enough. He was also involved in it. And matters of the church, I don't want to go so much into that. And these things happened. It's been a series of issues that happened. And I was the whip from the Deputy Minority Whip. That was one of it.
Yeah.
This is a position which was negotiated, you know. And our big brother, we said, you have this, you have this. You know, Sifuna, we wish him well, that one time he can become a legislator. You see, we are lawmakers. He's a lawyer. This is totally too different.
And look...
And the issue here, I also wish him well.
We invited you to the issue because all of you are qualified. Can you just leave those...
No. The issue is this. The issue is this. I'm just trying to debunk what you had said earlier. And also to say, as we move forward, in a coalition, as per your question, trust is very important. A coalition is like a marriage. When partners come together, there must be that element of trust and honesty.
Okay.
And believe me, why this law, political parties coalition, one of the reasons why it came in is because of some principles are known not to be honest. It is coming actually to cure that particular problem. And this Political Parties Amendment Act, the law that is there, is because we've had a lot of intrigues earlier on that you agree this, and I'm happy with the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, though my brother here was too harsh on the Registrar of Political Parties, which she has tried doing her work well, and we also wish her well. It's a very challenging office, and they've come up with a structure that whatever the MOU you come up with, it must be well structured based on some of the regulations I think they've brought to the floor of the House, which Parliament will be able to look into. And why are we going so much into the details of MOU? Because of the mistrust. And when you see Kalonzo here saying...
This time around, because you're now working with the... Just hold on, SJ. Because now you're working with Kenya Kwanza, and it's the big day for UDA. What have you done to ensure there's no trust deficit in a few years from now, and you come and tell us that we cannot trust them anymore?
UDA is our partner. So far, they have a lot of respect for the partners. And we're looking forward for their big day. We wish them well. Of course, as Ford Kenya, we are going to be there. When you talk of Kenya Kwanza, we are part and parcel of the founders of Kenya Kwanza. And as we speak right now, we also have a document in place. It is work in progress. And when you look at the level of the body language, the understanding, we can see we are going very far. You can see Azimio, they just signed the other day, and you see Kalonzo is crying. There's a lot of mistrust. They don't even know the documents that they signed. This is to tell you that maybe he was not fully in the picture. Already there are so many doubts. And this is the mistrust we're talking about. But as in Kenya Kwanza, as we move forward,
that document?
As we move forward in our...
You will not get an answer on that.
As we move forward, no, give me my time. As we move forward in Kenya Kwanza...
What are the chapters in that document?
No, that document will be disclosed at the right time. Please, I've just said, no, I know. I've just said it is work in progress. I'm the SG. Yeah. You see, I'm SG. I'm an SG and a legislator, as opposed to Sifuna, who is a more heckler than even Mwaura.
But he's not
he's not a legislator.
But
there's a difference.
Just like you. I mean,
I'm a legislator as an SG. He's not a legislator.
Can we just not?
And I'm not sure whether he will very soon.
Can I speak?
You know.
So in conclusion,
no, Dr. Chris Omar,
in conclusion, Kenya Kwanza, our document is work in progress.
Okay.
And as per the provisions of the law in terms of the timelines, it will be disclosed at the right time.
When are you depositing it?
He doesn't.
Within the framework of the law. The law says it's before 9th, okay? This is what...
9th of April?
April, of course. That's what we passed. We said 120 days.
That's a coalition political party.
Exactly.
So you
120 days.
So you will be a coalition political party?
I said, of course, it's obvious. This Political Parties Act, it also makes a coalition to be a political party.
That's what I'm asking. Will you be a coalition or a coalition?
That one will be in our coalition document, which we are saying it is work in progress.
Okay.
It will be disclosed at the right time.
SG Sifuna, so your party has been accused on several occasions of, and I think we have discussed it previously, on trust deficit. But are you concerned that it appears we don't have very clear margins that define these political parties, and that's why it becomes so easy. I can hear you. That's why it becomes so easy for a politician to move from vehicle A to vehicle B just for the sake of the upcoming election.
No, I don't think so. You know, if you look at the document that we signed, it has set out very clear objectives that all these political parties buy into. And they're very important and key to, these political parties. Number one is that we want to form an inclusive government. This is something that all the partners who have signed up buy into. We have zero tolerance on corruption. This is something we agree across the board. And lastly, to form a coalition that will defend devolution and uphold devolution. So you can see that there is some level of ideological thread that runs through this coalition. So we don't know about the others, but we can speak authoritatively about ourselves. Now, Sam, there's a lot of things that have been said here, and just grant me a few minutes to respond. First of all, it is quite hypocritical for somebody to speak about dishonesty, and yet at the same time admitting that he himself was dishonest. He talks about being a legislator, and I said here that some of them, either they don't understand the laws that are passed. In fact, if you look at their contribution in Parliament when these important bills are put before the House, it leaves a lot to be desired. So, two examples. Number one, the Political Parties Act requires that once you are elected under a certain political party or political movement, you keep political hygiene. He knows that. He was kicked out from his position simply because he was unable to keep political hygiene, and he has confessed himself. So when he talks about dishonesty, I don't know what he's talking about. Number two, when it comes to the question of political party funding, he claims to be a legislator. He knows what the parliament is supposed to do in terms of allocation of resources to political parties. They have never complied. He himself, as a legislator, has failed because it is the role and the duty of parliament to allocate these monies in accordance with the law that they themselves have passed. So you are in no position, Mheshimiwa Chris Omalo, to speak about dishonesty. Number three, I as SG of ODM know with precision that money was released to Ford Kenya. The only thing I know is that we paid 50% of the amount that was supposed to be paid, because at that particular time, the leadership of Ford Kenya was in question. It was about 12 million shillings, and that is 50% of your entitlement. So this is not...
Actually, it's not 12 million. They only gave us 6 million.
Just a minute.
This is the dishonesty.
I said 50%.
Yeah, but you said 12 million. I'm confirming it was not 12 million
is 6.
No. The total amount that we need, I've just been texted.
So can I finish?
It's about 40 million.
Can I finish the point that I want?
Just hold on. So you said...
Can I finish the point that I want to make?
Entitled to 12 million, you paid 50%.
Yeah, we paid 50%. And the reason we paid 50%, Sam, is because there was, at that particular point, a question of the leadership of Ford Kenya was not known. The matter was still in court. So you will get the balance of 6 million. It is not something to come here and waste time over. Now, the thing that I am happy about, Sam, if you look at the sort of support that Raila Odinga has been able to put together, essentially we have assembled everyone that Ruto won with, and they have run away with all the people we lost with the exception of Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka, he addressed the question of the value of Kalonzo Musyoka, is way more valuable than even Ford Kenya and ANC people combined. You have seen the hemorrhage of support from ANC and Ford Kenya. And in fact, it was an insult to Kalonzo when One Kenya was still in subsisting, for anyone to claim, like Ford Kenya or ANC, that they were equal to Kalonzo. Munya and Kiraitu Murungi, that is the entire Mount Kenya East locked, and we are very happy that they have actually decided to join us. On the question of the provisions of the document that I was speaking about, I started by saying, I don't know if Mwaura was on the show by that particular time, that in fact there was legal representation from all the political parties that came to sign. I even gave the names of the specific lawyers who represented the One Kenya Alliance. So it is not a document that we sprang on them, that Sifuna and the ODM lawyer sat somewhere and...
Kalonzo is complaining.
No, just a minute. It is not that we sat somewhere in a corner without any reference to the other political parties and came up with a document and then sprang it on our colleagues. There was legal representation from all these political parties, and I've given you the names so that you cannot accuse us of dishonesty. Lastly, the question of fights in political associations. When you hear these gentlemen speak, you will think all is rosy in the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. In fact, my brother Malala, just recently, was crying at the top of his lungs that, in fact, if they are shortchanged on the question of deputy president...
No, we'll get to that shortly.
Please, let me finish.
I'll actually give you the...
let me finish, please. The point that I am making, let it not disappear. So that even them, they have problems of their own in their so-called marriage.
Okay.
So it is not as if it is all rosy. And the only thing I appreciate about the ANC is that at least they still have some ambition left. I don't hear anything from Ford Kenya. I don't know whether you are still running for president. You didn't even...
Ford Kenya made you not to go to parliament.
You didn't even have the courage of that young lady. I think she was called Tracy Wanjiru.
Yeah.
To even attend an interview. You know, all people want Chris Wamalwa is to see you making an effort. Even if you know you will not make it. Please go for an interview.
The way you've been trying and you don't make it to parliament, is that what you imply?
Dr. Chris Wamalwa, just a moment. There's a document that was shared from ODM a while back, and Ford Kenya was to receive 36 million shillings.
Absolutely.
From the financial years 2017, 18, 19, I mean 18, 19 and 19, 20. For 2017, 18 and 2018, 2019, each year was about 6.3 million. So when you said that you owed them 12 million, but the figure
I will tell you why.
I'm talking about.
I will tell you why.
Dishonesty.
Let me explain.
Yes.
Let me explain. You see, initially, the calculation was done for like all the financial years, right?
Okay.
But the question then became, if, you know, the calculation arose from at the contribution of the constituent parties to the strength of the coalition in the House, right?
That's true.
So the question then became, how long was the NASA coalition alive in the House? It was only, you can only argue rightly that maybe for the first 2 financial years. That is why the amount was settled on the first 2 years, which is 12 million shilling sum. You cannot claim, for instance, if somebody comes and claims now for this financial year, is it right in law having dissolved the coalition?
So in your view, since July 2019, you don't owe them anything?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that is when the coalition died.
Yes.
Very important that I should respond to this. What they are owing us is not just at the NASA time, even the money at COD time, up to now, they've not paid us that money.
Do you know how much?
Sifuna might not be knowing.
No, the code time, I'll explain the code.
Yeah. So to us, the issue of dishonesty.
Do you know how much it is, Dr. Chris Wamalwa?
Okay, when you give me time, I can look at the records in the office. Okay. I don't work with them.
I'll give you time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we need our money.
Let's listen to Senator Malala on what he said about the formation of this coalition or movement, Kenya Kwanza, and what has to be at stake.
This time round, we are giving a demand that this is a coalition of parties. This is not a coalition of regions. Watu wasikae mahali pamoja waseme ati kwa sababu hao wamekaa kwa mlima au wanatosha kukua naibu wa rais kuliko sisi ambao tumekaa hapa chini. Sisi kama chama tunasema UDA ikichukua kiti cha president, ANC tunataka kiti cha deputy president. Ama mimi naongea vibaya? Na sisi kama Kenya Kwanza, our agenda is economic revival. Leo tumeona deputy president William Ruto kabla apewe tikiti ya kuwania urais kwa UDA ameenda akafanyiwa interview, wakasema yeye anatosha kuwa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Pia tunataka when they will be selecting the deputy president of Kenya Kwanza, mpaka tuweke hao watu kwa ratili, tujue ni nani ako na uzoefu. Tuweke hapo Musalia Mudavadi afanyiwe interview, tuweke hapo huyo Rigade afanyiwe interview, alafu tuone kati ya Rigade na Musalia ni nani anaelewa masuala ya uchumi kuliko mtu mwingine.
A short answer, because I need to listen to Senator Mwaura. Dr. Chris Wamalwa, is it agreed that William Ruto will be the presidential flag bearer?
As I said earlier, as in Kenya Kwanza,
yes,
discussions are going on.
So is it a yes or no?
The work in progress.
Okay, work in progress. That's
and
fine.
As we speak right now, he's one of the front runners.
Okay.
So
the reason I'm asking
hold
this,
your horses.
Who are the others?
The reason I'm asking this question, Senator Mwaura, is because Deputy President has served his 2 terms.
Yeah.
He cannot be deputy, he cannot be running mate any other time unless he decides to become a kingmaker. But you also said that you want the running mate to come to Mount Kenya. Rigathi Gachagua was on this show some 2 weeks ago and he said as much. Senator Malala is responding to him there and saying actually between Rigathi and Mudavadi, I don't know who said that Rigathi is one of the front runners for deputy president. You can tell us if that's the case. But so now what happens? Because this it's a question of negotiations. He has spoken about political deceit. But what gives in this negotiation?
I think we are not going to change these conversations because there is what we had agreed with William Ruto before Kenya Kwanza came on board, and let's leave that matter to the principals so that they can negotiate further. Because you see now, when you start having those conversations, we'll just be like Azimio, looking like we are confused. There's a technical committee, and I think Senator Malala should wait for that. Let me put it publicly. Even for me, I had pronounced myself on this issue, but we have since agreed that matter be dealt at that high level.
So when you say that you had an earlier agreement with the Deputy President, what was that?
No, at that point we had agreed that the running mate must come from the central Kenya region because we are vote rich, and that is where the bulk of the UDA, we have paid the price for it. But see, now there are new negotiations that are happening. Let them happen at that level.
So who are these having this discussion with the DP Ruto?
In terms of...
You're saying you had an agreement. Who are you?
The Mount Kenya UDA caucus. I am the secretary. I've been the secretary of that caucus. So we had a meeting at Abadeas, if you remember. And we talked a lot, and that was then. But that was before Mudavadi and...
Did the Deputy President concede at that time?
Yes, at that point, yes. So please, let's leave it at that point in time, because if the agreement still remains, it will then have to be shared with Mudavadi and Wetangula, and they will agree, because we are, in principle, very respectful to one another.
Okay. Yes,
one thing, Sam, you need to know is Kenya Kwanza, we believe in honesty, team working. And our critical objective is to form the government. That is the objective number one. So what Senator Malala has said, Senator Malala is our very good team player and is entitled to his own opinion. What he said, it is his opinion. But he knows very well, as a team, our critical objective of forming government, there's a lot of flexibility and negotiation are still going on. So please hold your horses. At the right time, you're going to know this. And for us, on the side of Ford Kenya and ANC coming on board, we're not coming to destabilize our objective of forming the government or to destabilize the strength of UDA in Central Kenya. We know Central Kenya is a very critical region, and it's coming, you can see the whole support. The president is naked. We don't want to lose that. So as we continue with our negotiations, we are aware the value that Mount Kenya region contributes or is going to contribute to our winning these elections. So at the appropriate time, we are going to unveil everything. We'll not be dishonest like our brothers. It will be signed in the open. And we'll give in the full disclosure. In your view, where
should the Deputy President come from?
I think Sam, it's not...
We've said
it's a question to Dr. Chris Omalo. Where should the Deputy President come from?
As I said earlier, when we joined the team, we didn't come with an intention of destabilizing any strength.
I'm asking about...
So I've just mentioned to you that negotiations are still going on, and very soon you're going to see.
I think let me
it's work in progress.
If you allow me to add, we are telling you this. For example, before Ford Kenya and ANC came on board, the agreement was really that the running mate should come from Central Kenya, and I'm on record as having said that even post the earthquake. Now, we have since agreed that all of us will leave that matter at that high level.
Yeah. Okay.
So at that point, we'll get to know. Of course, we in Central Kenya would want to have the deputy president position, but we do not want to have the acrimony that we are seeing, like in Azimio, fighting for these things in public. Because I think that has a way of other people coming on board to drive a wedge. For example, when I said that statement, it was doctored. In fact, there were people who were sponsored to tweet it to look like I was going back to Jubilee. I want to say it categorically. We may have a difference of opinion, but we are strong and united in UDA and Kenya Kwanza.
Okay.
Sam, can I speak on that?
Go ahead, SJ.
You see, this is it is just ridiculous, and the hypocrisy is just it is choking. Because you remember when Senator Mwaura was speaking about the very same question when Murathe was saying now the question of deputy president should be left to the principal. He was being castigated. Now they are saying this very same thing, that they don't want to have this discussion. They are being coy because there's trouble in paradise. The truth of the matter is, I actually agree with Senator Malala when he says what waweke kwa ratili. The only point of departure is what is being measured, because he talks about who knows finance and who knows whatever. But when it comes to elections, it is a question and a game of numbers. Who can bring the numbers to tilt the scales for you? And this is why Mount Kenya have a very strong argument. I don't know why Mwaura is being shy. You can just tell people the truth, that in fact it doesn't matter how high you jump, it doesn't matter what matrix we bring, which criteria. The truth of the matter is you cannot match the numbers that Central Kenya is putting on the table. It is that simple. So if you are being honest, Mwaura, and you're seated next to Chris Omalo, please tell him that Ford Kenya has no chance in hell of producing
that is driving our
president,
this man.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
We don't talk to each other that way. That is
I am just saying, be honest.
That is ODM language. That is not Kenya.
It's fair to let
That's why there's a difference with the elected legislators
just a minute.
and the noise.
Let me finish my point.
Going to parliament, there's a lot of decorum. This man has been
interrupting me.
Number two, you have raised an issue that we are uncomfortable about. And I just want to, just hold on. I just want to say this, that they're entitled to their responses.
Absolutely.
You may not agree with them. That's fine.
This is my response.
We are legislators who have ever been elected.
I am giving my response. And unfortunately for you, Chris Omalo, I have said this.
Let me tell you something. When we come here, and that's why next time we've been saying, bring people who are legislators who have been elected before. Don't bring us with hecklers who doesn't respect the rule of debate.
Chris Omalo, you knew
that's one thing you need to know. No, it doesn't matter. He's never been elected. So respect the elected leaders.
Unfortunately for Chris Omalo, elections do not result in geniuses. I have said this before, that in fact some of you are an embarrassment.
Sam, the issue is this.
No, just let me
No, it's wrong. The matters of Kenya Kwanza.
I'll give you an opportunity.
I must respond to that first.
Yes,
you will respond.
Note it down.
You will respond.
This is Kenya Kwanza.
SG finish.
Fort Kenya has nothing to do with the...
Honorable Mwaura had also given us a treatise on the state of our politics. He said it is still a bit regional and tribal and so on and so forth. Yeah. So it is also about your ability to be able to mobilize your region. And these are facts, Sam. The power of Musalia Mudavadi or the Ford Kenya leader to mobilize votes from their regions has diminished over the past few months, and it is something that you can ascertain with precision, so that you cannot then come and make an argument that because you know finance or you have been a finance minister, that you are best suited to be a running mate to the UDA candidate, yet you do not bring the same numbers and value to the ticket.
Okay.
So what we want, Sam.
Yes.
There was a time when they used to claim that these two political parties are the ones that speak for Luhyaland. I don't remember the last time I ran into anybody saying they support Ford Kenya. I have been on the campaign trail. I have met people who say they support UDA. Honestly speaking, you go to some places and you say Habarizenu, they can say, oh, UDA. But I have never had anybody saying Ford Kenya.
Now, the issue, Sam, is this. Can I respond?
If we are looking for honesty, let the UDA team be honest with our brothers in Ford Kenya and ANC.
Okay, SG Sifuna,
can I respond?
You will, because you raised that question,
yes.
And the story on page 12 of the Standard talks about Raila running mate position, not a must, Jubilee now says.
Yes.
Last time you were here with Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr., you told me that any credible candidature will have to consider a running mate from Mount Kenya region.
Absolutely.
Has that changed with the coming in of Kalonzo Musyoka?
No, for me, first of all, I said that the question of the running mate is something that is very personal to the candidate. It is not something that we can tell Ruto that, oh, you must pick so and so. But the question is, there is criteria that is objective criteria. I have never been a presidential candidate, but if I was running for president and I was looking for a running mate, the criteria that is objective is, one, the kind of value in terms of numbers that somebody is putting on the table. So if the people of Mount Kenya are saying that it doesn't have to be them, it is them saying that in recognition of the fact that even the question of the running mate is a matter that is largely supposed to be left to the presidential candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, Dr. Chris Omalo, what was the discomfort about?
Now, first of all, I want to respond to Honorable SG Sifuna, who has not been elected, and that is a fact. The Ford Kenya party is demeaning, defeated him in his Bungoma backyard. That's how he ran away from Bungoma, he came to Nairobi. Elections are just away.
I've never run against a Ford Kenya
about 4 months or so.
So
to me,
he lost in the nomination.
Yes, absolutely.
I have never run against a Ford Kenya candidate.
So the issue is, and who won the seat? It was a Ford Kenya candidate.
Okay,
I never ran against a Ford Kenya.
So you can't come here and demean this party, Ford Kenya, because wherever you are running is a Ford Kenya candidate who won the elections. So respect the elected leaders. I know how he's frustrated because he has tried many times to go to parliament.
I've tried
and he's never succeeded. He has tried many times.
Once.
Okay?
You can count, Chris.
So we are hoping 2022 the people of Nairobi are listening. Ford Kenya as a party. I'm an elected leader. I was elected through Ford Kenya. I respect this party. So when it comes to our negotiations in Kenya Kwanza, Pilipili Osioila, You concentrate on matters of Kuzimia. As in Kenya Kwanza, as I said, our objective is to win the government.
You have just spent the entire morning talking about Azimio.
You can't come and tell us that maybe as Ford Kenya we should go for the running mate position or whatever. The government is big. So it's about the issue of negotiations.
I hear you loud and clear. Yes. Senator Moore, as you wind up.
Yes, kindly. I think, let me put it very clear. In politics, there are three things that you bring. You either bring resources, like finances and all of that, infrastructure, or people or expertise.
Yeah.
We respect Musalia Mudavadi for his knowledge about the economy. In fact, I agree with him a lot. At some point, even Senator Petronia was telling me, it's like I was stealing their manifesto, because, of course, we agree a lot with Mudavadi as a development economist. We had a show with you here, Sam Gituka, and it went very well. So we respect Musalia Mudavadi. He has value. I think I liked what he presented during the earthquake. Senator Moses Wetangula is one of the greatest debaters on the floor of the House in the Senate, Dr. Chris Omalwa, together with James Orengo. So value in politics is not just about numbers. And also to say, even much as we are saying that in Central Kenya, that we want a deputy president position, and that is actually what we want, and I want to state very clearly, Edwin Sifuna, that's what we would want. But we respect the partners who come with us, because we know, for example, why not for the deputy president supporting President Uhuru Kenyatta, we would not have had the presidency from that region. That is why we do not want to treat anyone the way Deputy President has been treated by the Jubilee administration, by supporting the Deputy the President 3 times and then the President going to actually endorse Raila Odinga. And further to it, if you look at the page 9 of the Standard, honestly, what Edwin you are saying, and respectfully...
So 3 times you're also counting the repeat presidential
elections and the ICC and all that. If you look at page 9, you can see Wiper and ODM are losing in Western region. They are losing. Kutimba has gone. My friend Naomi Shiyonga has gone to DAP.
That's Azimio, bro.
No, either way, but it's going to split your vote because ODM is not...
How?
Edwin, you can allow me.
Don't be a heckler.
Yeah, if you can allow me.
in debate.
No, it's Senator's time. Let him finish what he said.
Yeah. So so you see, if they are running away from ODM, like now the deputy governor of what do you call it? Oparanya, I beg your pardon, Kakamega. He's going to DAP because he says Oparanya has got a preferred candidate. Now Shiyonga, who I expected would be a very strong candidate in ODM, and I support her. We call her Mama Sigino. She's a very good lady. She's running away because of Elsie Mohanda. Now, is ODM becoming better? In fact, if you read, let me read for you. The problem is that the defections could see ODM fortunes in Bungoma continue to dwindle despite inroads made by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. If you go to Bungoma, for example, Ford Kenya is the party of choice. That's why you saw Ken Lusaka, my speaker, moving to Ford Kenya.
Okay.
So really, who is losing Western?
All right, Senator. Yeah. I asked you a question.
Can I just hold on. To Ford Kenya defection?
I need to take a look at the feedback. I asked you a question about the principles. You are not very firm on the answer, but all the same, let's take a look at... So those are examples you're giving. On Twitter, at Citizen TV Kenya, the hashtag is Daybreak. Engineer Lazaro, I think Alonzo should be invited on one of the Daybreak shows to speak for himself. These wild speculations and allegations could just be campaign gimmicks for both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. We strive to do that. Olum Justice, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is a veteran politician. He ought to have learned these lessons over the years. From the look of things, the Kalonzo is in a coalition called Azimio la Umoja. Ghana African, it's barely a day since Kalonzo joined Azimio and he is already being treated with so much disrespect. Look at how Mudavadi and Wetangula have been treated with the respect they deserve in Kenya Kwanza. In whose hands are you safe?
Thank you.
Mao Simao, some of the sentiments Kalonzo Musyoka is making now are nothing but unnecessary noise. The deal was sealed. Kalonzo is in a winning team and he has no option but to deliver. Chalo Wadrozi, it's unnecessary to talk ill about a document after signing it. Kalonzo Musyoka, being a lawyer, should have known better. It's always better to understand the content of a document before signing. And Mzalendo, you're saying Kalonzo is a genius and tough negotiator. There's no way Kalonzo, as a senior counsel, could sign a document without reading it. Kalonzo is playing a game that can only be understood by geniuses. Hope UDA won't get trapped in this game. And Mtu Imara, you're saying the politicians of our country will always try to encircle us with the high walls of lies. We must know what the truth is beyond the walls, and without meeting the truth, we cannot meet the freedom. I wish you had more time. But that's our time for now. Up next is Matters Social. I'll be back later at 9 a.m. To see and follow the journey of William Ruto as he heads to the UDA NDC at Kasarani Stadium. Be sure to catch that coverage from 9 a.m. all the way until that event concludes later this afternoon. My name is Sam Gituku. Thank you all, SJ Sifuna, Dr. Chris Omalwa, and Senator Isaac Mora for making time for us. See you some other time.